Good day, everyone. I am Juliza Kilingin. In today's discussion, I will be discussing about the motivational and affective factors and its principles. But before we start, let me first read to you the objectives. At the end of the lesson, learners will be able to K. Explain the motivational and affective factors in the learning. S. Define the importance of motivational and emotional influences in the learning capacity. And A. Apply the importance of motivation to every individuals to enhance their critical thinking skills and creativity. What is motivational factors? Motivational factors is any factor, whether that be emotional, spiritual, physiological, or otherwise, which propels an individual forward in an exercise or activity. So this is how the individual being motivated because of their emotional and spiritual on how they motivate themselves to go forward in an activity or a learning task. While affective factors, these are the emotional factors which influence learning. They can have a negative effect and positive effect. These factors include emotions, feeling, mood, manner, attitude, and so on. So emotional factors, these are the factors that will influence in learning on how they manage their emotions, feelings, mood, or their attitudes when they put into the learning task. Motivational and emotional influences. What and how much is learned is influenced by the learner's motivation. So in this situation, it depends on the students on how they are motivated because that will be their way to encourage or engage in learning. Once the student is not motivated, they lose their interest to engage in learning and to develop more knowledge in the specific topic. In addition, students are more motivated to engage in learning when they feel competent to do what is expected to them and perceive stable links between actions and achievements. They value the subject and have a clear sense of purpose. They experience positive emotions towards learning activities, and contrariwise, turn away from learning when they experience negative emotions and when they perceive the environment as favorable for learning. So we must remember that motivation to learn is influenced by the individual's emotional states, beliefs, interests, and goals and habits of thinking. Intrinsic motivation to learn. The learner's creativity, higher order thinking, and natural curiosity all contribute to motivation to learn. Intrinsic motivation is stimulated by tasks of optimal novelty and difficulty, relevant to personal interest, and providing for personal choice and control. So this is the large part of function of meeting basic needs to be competent and to exercise personal control. Intrinsic motivation is facilitated on tasks that learners perceive as interesting and personally relevant and meaningful, appropriate in complexity and difficulty to the learner's abilities and on which they believe they can succeed. Intrinsic motivation is the act of doing something without any obvious external rewards. An example of intrinsic motivation would be reading a book because you enjoy reading and have an interest in the story or subject, rather than reading because you have to write a report on it to pass a class. Intrinsic motivation occurs when students are engaged because of internal rewards, like a love of learning or interest in the subject. Intrinsic motivation involves teachers providing choice, enabling students to set goals and investigate their interests and curiosities. To sum it up, motivational and affective factors refers to students' effort and engagement while learning and emotional states, beliefs, and interests that influence in learning. Intrinsic motivation to learn is the act of doing something that is relevant to a personal interest without any external rewards.